Welcome back on our stage here now after a quick change. We will be talking now about the future of commerce. How will the next generation of commerce look like? What can you expect as a customer in the future, or what do you need to expect from merchants, but also from brands? What do you want to see? Is it just buying some products? Is it really seeking after new experiences? Is it something we don't know? We will see, and we will hear how this all is changing the brands, but also the merchants in terms of commerce in the future. And we've got two great experts who are backstage. I'll get them up on stage now, and you can give them a warm hand when the CMO from Magento is coming up on stage, Andrea Ward. Come on, a bit more, make some noise. Yeah, better. Good to see you. And she's kind of assisted, or she gets a case more or less from the CEO of TechDivision, Stefan Willkommer. Welcome, Herr Willkommer. Stefan,
Hi,
good to see you. Stage is yours.
Thank you.
Rock the stage, come on.
Thank you, and welcome. Well, let me see. Let's go back to the beginning of this. Welcome. We're here to talk about e-commerce, but also about experiences. We know that across every industry, whether you're selling to consumers, or you're selling to businesses, or you're selling to both, there's been dramatic change in the way people expect to have experiences from brands. In fact, brands now can have a make or break based on the experiences that they deliver. And Walker had a study, a Customer 2020 study, that said that brands will now compete on experiences much more than products and services that they deliver. The other thing that we're seeing is that the adoption and willingness to try new technology is accelerating. And that technology means that the number of interactions that consumers have with your brands is accelerating. It took Uber 5 years to have the first billionth ride, and only 6 more months to have the second billionth. And that means expectations have changed. Think about the transportation industry and the impact Uber has had. Consumers now expect much more transparency into the accessibility of their rides. They want to know more about the services that they can expect. They want to know about the driver. They expect ease of payment. And all that is coming from the fact that we now have Uber. So that means that brands aren't just competing with companies in their own business. They're competing with the best experiences consumers have ever had. Problem is figuring out where those experiences matter. And that can mean some different things for different industries. Bain & Company recently did a study, and of the companies surveyed, 80% of companies thought they were delivering great experiences. But when they surveyed customers, only 8% of customers thought they were getting great experiences. And a lot of that is because when companies are envisioning moving to digital, they're transitioning their existing business online and think that that's enough, rather than thinking about how to make their business more transparent, more convenient, a better experience for the customer. We did a recent study with Forrester, and they're showing that making investment in really knowing your customers and understanding how those experiences can matter makes great business sense. As you can see, average order value almost doubled, customer retention almost doubled, 36% faster revenue growth rates just by focusing on the customer experience. And it's not just about the discovery or the awareness of that brand. It touches the purchase process. It touches the post-purchase experience. And more, we're seeing that commerce itself is playing a greater role in that overall customer experience. Think about how many times your brand touches your consumer, and if you could make every one of those experiences shoppable, make it easy for them to transact with you, make it easy for you to buy. And if you think about it, how do you connect that online and offline experience? How do you make sure that once someone is bought from you, that they're actually getting transparency into the inventory that you have, into the service? When can they expect their products and services to be delivered? Because of all these reasons now, commerce is playing a much more significant role in delivering the customer experience. And it's not just for online digital companies that have grown up during this time of digital transformation. It can impact companies that are bricks and mortar, that have been around for years. One such example is Gabor. They're a German shoe retailer that has been around for over 100 years. And they wanted to deliver a great customer experience, but also enhance their relationship with their retail distribution channels. And so I'd like Stefan now to come and talk a little bit about the transformation that they went through to create this great experience.
Thank you, Andrea, for paving the road. Yeah, Gabor, as you can see, it's a German shoe manufacturer which is around for almost 100 years and selling classical 80% right now through retail business in 60 countries throughout 20,000 point of sales with 6,000 retail customers. So this traditional business is changing also, and we all know that. There are competitors, online pure players like Amazon, like Zalando, and that's quite challenging, of course. So Gabor had the situation that on the one hand, that what Andrea said in the beginning, customers are demanding right now. They're really demanding a commerce, integrated commerce brand experience on the one hand. And on the other hand, you have retailers which are highly under pressure. So they're really highly under pressure. But Gabor, as they consider themselves as a partner of the retail businesses for decades. So the idea was bringing the retail businesses or the business of the retail into an integrated solution. And that's, I mean, where the great opportunity here is. And Gabor faced that opportunity and looked around for ideas. And what came out in the end was what we call the multi-retail marketplace. So on the one hand, we have the online channels. On the other hand, we have offline channels, thousands of stores, brick and mortar stores in 60 countries. And so in the online world, we wanted to give the consumers a great experience by having access to the broadest collection of Gabor shoes entirely, globally in the internet. And that is only able if you utilize the inventory locations or the inventory sources of your retail business. So that was the idea, bringing a brand experience to the end consumer, a direct-to-consumer commerce experience by utilizing the inventory of all your retail locations. On the other hand, you still have your offline, which is not only a sales channel on the one hand, but it's also advertisement space. Think about your brand. It's advertised on the retail store as well. So we want to enable that and still helping them growing and making their business by giving them a digital touch point in store. And I mean, that's pretty simple. Gabor has a collection of 3,000 shoes each season. Only 10%, only the biggest retailers have 10% of each collection on stock. So that means there is a highly chance of 90% that people going to a store are not finding what they want in the end. So we want to activate that business as well by bringing a digital touch point in store and making it possible to shop in-store through an endless aisle. So the complete concept is a win-win, not only for Gabor a win, it's also a win for merchants, the retailers, and also for the customers, because the customers are really experience the biggest collection throughout the web. So you might ask, how does that work? I mean, Gabor has own retail stores, but they have, also a lot of partners which are not owned, so they are self-owned shoe retailers. So how does that work? The business model look like the following. So we have the Gabor web shop, so which is a brand experience web shop, pretty emotional. And throughout that web shop, there is the multi-retail marketplace attached in the back end. And that's the brain of the concept, because we're utilizing all the inventory there. And the MRM knows exactly which shoe, in which size, in which color is in which location, at which time. And so by utilizing that, you can give the consumer the biggest collection. And once the consumer is placing the order on the web shop, the MRM is routing the order, is looking, is the so-called allocation run, is looking for the best way to fulfill the order throughout the retail business. So the concept itself is a retail-first business. So that means right now 50% of all orders done through that marketplace are going directly straight to retail and not to central warehouse. So the orders will be fulfilled from the retail location through different algorithms. That means probably a geolocal algorithm, so which is the closest store to you. So you're saving shipping costs, for example. So once an order is fulfilled or a retailer accepted the fulfillment, he gets all the shipping documents, fulfills the order, and makes the sale, the complete sale, by paying only just a small portion in terms of commission back for using the marketplace. So that's the business model behind to enable the retail partners of Gabor in the whole concept. So what we are doing simply here is we are bringing, on the one hand, the selling channels, so the demand channels, demand generating channels, together with the supply. So that means with the inventory location. And it doesn't matter whether the inventory location is a central warehouse, is a single retail store, a store network, pop-up, or flagship stores. On the one hand. On the other hand, we have the demand channels like web, mobile, the stores, the brick and mortar stores, also customer service. There is a study from Accenture saying that 89% of consumers highly demand an integrated, seamless customer experience through all out of the channels. So this is really, really important. So in the end, what we can say now is that after only 3 months, since we are online, the digital channel is #1 of all sales in Gabor stores. And on top of that, we see, as I said, 50% of the orders are routed directly to retail businesses. So that means they're making business what they would have not done before. So, and they see it actually in a sales increase by 30%. And also with the digital touchpoint in-store, we see at these locations where the digital touchpoint is used that there is a highly increase in really local brick and mortar sales by almost up to 20%. So yeah, finally, that is how you can think about an integrated commerce brand experience.
Great. Thank you. So I think what we're trying to show with this one example is that rather than putting gimmicks and technology at the center, in order to be successful, putting the customer at the center is key for coming up with the transformation around commerce. And in here, it was really about using the opportunity of technology to connect customers with the brand as well as their distribution channels with the brand to offer customers the biggest global selection of inventory available. Also, the second thing that really made this successful was the willingness of the brand to really believe in the impact of digitization and not only have it be a technology transformation, but the change in the entire business model.
Definitely. I mean, impactful commerce or the digital business has to have a different business model in the background. So they reinvented their own business model. They invested a lot. They prioritized their investments heavily. They invested in infrastructure, also in infrastructure like logistics. So it's easy. It was easy for them to ship 50,000 boxes of shoes to one customer. It was not easy to ship one box to 50,000 customers. So that's a different thing. And on the other hand, what they figured out that they have to be agile. You know, they have to transform their organization structure. So that was also something what they looked into. So you have to invest in that also.
And now I know the next step for them is actually creating innovative new products and services that are formed specifically around the digital experience. So I know we had a test around one earlier this summer.
Yeah, that's correct, Andrea. So we try to bring entirely or online-only products on stock. So the idea was to test around and experiment a little bit. So they brought for the Soccer World Championship some collections online, only sold through the online channels to figure out how does that work. So we just give consumers online-only products, and there are a lot of ideas coming next for that. So I think it will be quite interesting what we see from them in the future.
That's great. And I know that the success for them is not just about it being the #1 channel, but it's also really benefited their business partners as well. They've seen an uplift in their own revenue. So it's not only been a win for the brand, but also for the channel partner.
Exactly. I mean, they want to enable their channel partners doing online business without having any online capabilities. So, and I mean, look, 30% of all shoes right now are actually sold online already in Germany. So that is quite an impressive number.
That's great.
Still growing.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And if there are any questions, please come visit us either at the Adobe booth or at the Magento booth later today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Stefan, you've done a great job. Andrea, maybe one question. Magento got acquired by Adobe some months ago. Now, what does that mean for merchants and customers in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's really fantastic for the Magento merchants because now with Adobe, we have the ability to combine the needs of advertising, marketing, commerce, and also IT and data, and to really build a combined solution to deliver on customer experiences. So excited to be a part of Adobe, and I know that it's excited for the Magento community as well.
Sounds good. Sounds like it helps the merchants and the brands in the future. Thank you very much for being here. It was great to have you on stage. Your applause again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great. So we need about 2 minutes to change the stage, and then we'll be back and talk a lot about the future of digital transformation again.